QB,
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, and I did put that in the description.
And last cohort. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. Please give everyone, including yourself, a round of applause for showing up today. A lot of reproductive organs to show up on day one. Y'all did it. Y'all definitely did it. But it's gonna take a lot more to finish. So, please, be present every week for this. Anybody need a notebook? Anybody need a notebook? It's okay to have your laptops out at the beginning of it, but once we get into spoken word content programming, I want them gone. Because, yeah, just you're not present. Not going. And I don't think you'll get the same value if you're just clacking laptop. So, y'all did introductions, all of you. Let's do this. Typical format is we're gonna do introductions to mentors. Prior to that, I'll get you a sticker for that too. You can throw your name on it. Working group presidents, JT, Mark, try and get up front row, front and center for us, both of you. Spend about 5 minutes or so, less, every week. Here's one day. JT, tell me what the week that was. How are you? I wish I could.
Sorry, repeat the question.
Talk to me. Introduce yourself to the room.
My name is JC. I've been in Austin for about 2 years. Founder of Apex, and heard about Founders Institute through an advisor, Richard Bagdanos. I'm sure some of you may know him. And so what else do you want to know, Martin?
Well, how was the week that was with your team?
We went really well. So we ran our first meeting via Google Meet on Monday. Went over the session, checked in on sprint, made sure we're ready for the hot seat. Got a bit more familiar about what everyone's doing on the launch track. So found some synergies there where we can help people with their main challenges as of now. So it seems like a really great cohort, quite supportive.
And challenges, questions the group might have that you can answer on their, or I can answer for them on your behalf.
Main ones, I think we're just trying to get familiar with the program. Mentorship, really trying to figure out how to best utilize time, both for the mentor themselves, to solve given problems. But it seems like everything is pretty seamlessly integrated into the FI website. Makes it quick and easy. And it's nice once you get in the group, say, hey, I met with this guy, I think he can help with X problem.
Good deal. So I can hear. Mark?
Hey, my name is Mark Lutweiler, and I'm the president of the Chargers Group. We had 2 meetings this week. Oh, well, I guess a little bit about myself. I'm a founder for postproducer.ai, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in the future, so I don't need to get too much into that right now. But this is my second time through this program. First time, I got to a pivot point and just realized that my business idea wasn't sustainable and failed fast, right? So I was able to thank goodness that the Founders Institute allows you, if you have something like that happen, you can, exit and then come back in. And so that's what I've done. So I'm trying it again with a new idea, and we've got a fantastic group with the Chargers. We're on the ideation, or I forgot the name of it, but it's what is it?
Validation.
Validation, yes, thank you. The validation track. And so we're all at the seed stage, ideation, just basically have concepts that we're trying to get out and validate with our customer base and see if they're going to fly. We had 2 meetings already this week. Everyone showed up, so that was fantastic. That's always a good sign. And so far, so good. Everyone's been charging forward with their work, which is great. We did have a little bit of a technical challenge with one of our members, but with the help of some folks within Founders Institute, we're able to resolve that. And our member does have access to the dashboard now and is able to complete her work and get all that entered. So we're excited to be here and we're ready to roll.
I know.
Okay. Did you guys groups respond to my email?
Which email? No, I didn't see an email.
Also did not see.
Anybody get an email from me last week? Yeah. Any reason why nobody responded besides 2 people? If you responded, Brandon, thank you.
I really didn't see it.
Okay, if you did not get an email from me, wait, talk to me after class. And that's maybe a question for the platform, because that's my personal email and it should not be going to spam. So
Check
if
your
my
spam,
personal email is
y'all.
going to spam, that's a problem, but I sent that through the F1 cloud, so that may be why I didn't get it, so.
Way.
Yeah, just, I don't know if you guys talked about it, your calendar, I want everybody to have a calendar link set up to have me be able to schedule office hours with you guys as well. So that way, as you guys continue to grow and ask for meetings with people, you guys already have that done first thing out the gate. So my ask is send me your calendar link so I can book hours with you guys. Okay?
Thank presidents. All right, so we got through the particulars with the accelerator kickoff event next for last week. So we're gonna go straight into introducing our mentors for this evening. They will be assisting you figuring out what to say and what not to say tonight. Hot seats as judges. So we have more than, which I'm really pleased of. We're gonna start for that with introducing Lily Turner with Opportunity Austin. The reason why we're here today in this beautiful building is Founder Institute has this fine partnership with Opportunity Austin, who has been instrumental in getting us back to the in-person program, championing what we do years. So Lily, please, let's take a look at it.
Thanks, y'all. So Lily Turner, I am the manager of global investment and innovation here at Opportunity Austin. We're on the 17th floor. So thanks for joining us in the building today. Happy to have y'all back. We had 2 cohorts before this. We were originally part of the Austin Chamber. So we did have our first cohort with them over there helping host. And then we hosted the last cohort here. So it was a great time. If you have not familiar with Opportunity Austin, we're a regional economic development organization. So we cover all 5 counties of the Austin MSA, not just the city. So we work with everybody. We help from everything from workforce development, economic development, global investment and innovation, advocacy and policy. We're in our 21st year. So we have working usually 5-year strategic plans. So on OA 5.0 this year. Every year every 5 years strategy changes to inform whatever our members organizations are part of, like they will inform the strategy going forward for the next 5 years. So yeah, we're happy to be here, help support y'all. And we do everything from recruiting capital from abroad to helping startups and scale ups in the Austin region connect to capital to workforce development, helping the site selection process. So we work with pre-seed companies, we work with companies like Tesla, getting them here to Austin. So happy to help y'all in any way.
You got something going on.
We do. We have the Opportunity Austin A-List Awards. Unfortunately, nominations have already closed and judging has began, but we'd love for y'all to attend. October 23rd, we'll send out a link to everybody if you're interested in registering. Early bird pricing is super cheap right now. It's like $25 a ticket to attend. Honoring a bunch of startups, scale-ups, innovation. We have 11 or 12 different award categories, everything from pre-seed up through C-suite leader. So really great networking event. We'll have a lot of ecosystem leaders here. So we'll be at the Long Center.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Long Center again. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you again to the team at OA.
Something to think about, October 23rd is a Wednesday, most likely session's gonna be moved so that we can accommodate going to A-List, so you guys should already have that Wednesday block, so your ability to attend should be pretty.
All right, let's keep moving. We're gonna meet the rest of our mentors. We're gonna get right in hot seats. So, Rabbi. Yeah. Mind starting first, we'll get you to Omar, and then we'll snake our way up.
Sure. Hey, everyone. So I'm Hamza, Mohammed Hamza Altaf, and I have had founded 3 startups. 2 of them failed. The last one got acquired just 2 months ago. So now I'm working on another one. It's pre-seed, and here to help you guys with the customer development, with ideation, validation, and so on. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Hey everybody, Omar Zaki. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur and consultant and advisor, and recently turned into venture capitalist and coaching and working with founders for the last few years here in Austin, helping with their investment readiness and kind of how to understand the process of going out to fundraise and what it means and how to prepare your narrative and how to convince investors basically trying to build. Looking forward to hearing all your business models. My first week here, sorry I missed you guys last week, but you're out.
A lot of you already know me, but hi, I'm Gabriel Rucker. I am the CEO and co-founder of a company called Founding Titans. I did the fall 23 cohort here at Founder Institute. I'm also the current entrepreneur in residence for the program. I've been working with startups for over 10 years. Worked with 40 plus companies on the consulting side for startups. That's my 3rd startup. Really help out with validation as well as product, supply chain operations, mission and vision. And so if anybody has anything that they really help with, definitely go.
You, Tarun, and you,
Hi guys, I'm Tarun. I run a mental fitness company called Contemplate. That's what I'm in the process of launching right now. And as a mentor, my core area of interest is founder mental fitness and values, vision, and culture. Because everyone else is so busy talking about pitch decks and valuation and funding, so you don't need one more person to talk about that. My goal is to get you to look inward towards your purpose and your values, just to ensure that you don't forget those in the external noise. Because if you don't have that, and if you have everything else, things can fade pretty fast. So here to help, let me know if you need it.
Hello, my name is Jim McMullen. I'm a registered investment advisor and I work in wealth management. And I have some heavy corporate finance experience and some startup experience. And look forward to working with you.
Hi everyone, I'm Francesco, moved here to Singapore 3 months ago. I've been involved in the system there, startup scouting for a VC fund. I've done investor relations with startup as well. I've been advising in every startup for the past 3 years, and I'm also doing advising in mentoring on product market, market.
Hi, this is Abhishek, call me Abhi. Been largely into tech and product all of my life. Been associated with a couple of startup accelerator program, which includes UH has Red Labs and IIT startups and others. Love to work with startup. Currently building up my own venture called Excited Group, where we work with founders, business owners like you to build their technology product and roadmap. So happy to help.
phenomenal time. We gotta get out of here and get on the dot. Minutes and investment. Let's get in the hot seats. You will have 1 minute, only 1 minute. We will stop you at 1 minute. Pitch your startup, idea for a startup, right here. With mentors, peers. 10 minutes done. For the next 5 minutes, really into what we just heard. We're gonna be pacing around the room. Don't be sitting. Mentors, if you have a smartphone or any kind of device, we enter in our scores at fi.co/hot seat. When you get called up or big name, your company, you have. Hold the beat, we'll just start going. Once every mentor has your name registered, they'll give me some thumbs ups. And then you got a minute, so you can start talking. Shane's got a timer right there, you'll hear it, beep, 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 beep. Give you a round of applause to cut you up. We're gonna clap a lot in this group for the next few. During those 5 minutes, mentors, I mean, not all of them might give you verbal feedback, I just write it in on the scoring. So again, mentors, please get out your smartphones, tablets, laptops, whatever, because that's what we need to do to measure the performance of our members. Verbal feedback is so good, we can't quantify it. So, and if there's anybody in the room, maybe Gabe or Omar, maybe some of our new mentors, show some of our newest mentors how to get in there and figure it out. Well, it should be pretty straightforward. Select Austin Fall 2024, pick your name, then as our founders come up, state their name, they'll pull it down from the drop down. Okay, go again. Right. FI.co/loss. Immediately following the 5 minutes. Try to keep your eye on that too. Sometimes it tends to run over. We're gonna rate you. Scale is 1 to 5. Okay. You get 1. Must be a lot of ones tonight, probably. That's okay. Hey Omar, what's a 1?
1 is good.
Oh,
1 means they made good effort.
More like it's a trick question.
They made good effort.
2 years?
It's a good thing you're in the,
Two.
You like the
it's a good thing you're in the program.
They made better,
Yeah.
better effort.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, what's 4?
Wait, what happened to 3?
For me or for four?
4 when you did.
Yeah, so for four, that means that you've got something, you know, I'm not writing you a check right now, but you know, you're on the right track.
Yeah, this is good, this is good. I'd be surprised if we get any 4s tonight. Hey, they don't like food. Got a lot of mentors here. You give 4s out tonight, mentors, you better be scheduling office hours. You better follow now. If you're giving a 4 out tonight, mentor, it's like, I like this. I like where this might be going. I might like you, not yet. I definitely want to follow up with your learning. I might be able to help. I know somebody that might be able to. Well, let me make that introduction. Lily. What's that? That's 5.
It is a very well done job and you will be expecting a check in your hand shortly.
Ooh, mentors, you get a 5 out tonight, you better immediately start advising this company and founder at a formal level. You better have a checkbook. So, you ain't gonna see a 5 tonight. You could prove me wrong. For some reason, I didn't say we have 3. So, why is that good?
This 3 doesn't count.
It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. I mean, damn thing. It's a non-score. It's the middle of the road. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't really want to give you praise either. So we don't have it. We don't have it to tell us. 3's the factors. 1, 2, 4, 5. We're doing drum roll. Everybody's gonna do a drum roll. Just gonna do all that. They're all gonna show up their scorecards. Clap for you. Sit down. Do it again. Another founder. Cool. So, who wants to go up first? Ooh, Fatima, just right hand right up. Everybody give it up. All right, so I'm not gonna say anything on how you do it, but you should do it right here and then go from there.
Show you what a 1 looks like.
All right. First, give me full name, you got company names, take that too, and hold.
My name is Fatima. I don't have a name for my company yet, but we can call it the female CEO for now.
Cool.
You will be able to see, so we will go off and then we'll stop you at 60 seconds, so.
All right, mentors, give me thumbs up before she goes, just to make sure we have Fatima in the system. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. 60 seconds.
I'll start on you.
My name is Fatima. I am the founder of the Female CEO app. We are developing a mobile app that helps female founders and small business owners from underrepresented groups get access to fundraising, networking, and educational content for business.
As a small business owner myself, I have struggled for the past 3 years to find the right resources to build and grow my business. So that is my why to helping these women find the right resources. We are doing this through free service and optimal premium matchmaker to help females, I guess, match with the right resources, whether it's business tools or also what is it called? Investors. And my ask today is to find a technical co-founder to help me build this app.
Set that timer for 5 minutes, just so you know that uncomfortable pause was on purpose, to use that whole minute. Finish early, it's okay, wait. Wait for the beat. Right,
5 minutes.
5
mentor.
minutes, mentors, first person wants to start giving feedback, we'll begin the timer.
I mean, I'll start it off. So, I mean, we can definitely tell you have an idea there, but you know, there was really no problem statement. The solution was kind of the entire point of you speaking. You had a little bit of a story in there about why you're doing it, but it wasn't really very cohesive. So if you're gonna have a story, make sure that it has some flow. You're not gonna have a crazy amount of time, like 60 seconds can either go very quickly or it can feel like forever, as I'm sure you kind of saw in your up there. And so being able to just explain, you know, at least for this first part of you building out your pitch, like what are you building? Like what is the issue? What's the solution to that issue? Maybe a little bit on how it works if you have a semblance of that. And then going into you know, like how are you charging, how you're basically getting money, the business model portion of that, very short. And you know, closing out your ask, right? You didn't actually have an ask in there either. So make sure you have that in there.
Should have.
Oh, she had it. Okay. I did not put that in my notes. That's my bad. I missed it.
Good thing is they're not asking for the fund directly. Who else? Good thing is like, you talked about like what exactly is the challenge, say for example, what you might have also faced. But important thing is it like just building a community or do you have a business model behind it? That's something which probably I agree, like I found that piece missing, like what would you achieve out of it? Like you have 10,000 co-founders or founders, female founders to whom you provide support, but it's just community support or what? That's something which is very important. So is it a social entrepreneurship or the entrepreneurship? That's something which you should get much better clarity.
So like clarifying the kind of service I provide.
I would rather say that one thing could be pure social entrepreneur. I'm just doing it for the social good, right? That's it. Another one is I have a business intent around it. That part was missing.
Okay.
From my understanding is probably it's just 60 seconds that you might have not been able to articulate it, but that's what is my.
I would go off of that and say that, you know, that leads to also how you talk about your differentiation in the market. You know, you're not the only female or kind of only business model or solution around supporting female founders or minorities in general or other, like, you know, not typical. So I would say make sure you, in describing your business model, understand your positioning in the market and how you're differentiated from others out there that are also trying to support communities. And, you know, I definitely understood your target audience. It's just, okay, how are you going to be different to appeal to them? The other thing is, you were talking to us here in this direction the whole time, and you have some mentors and the other founders are part of your audience as well, right? So make sure you're spreading the love, right?
I have a small one, because they have covered already a lot of that. It's just that language, I never use I guess. It's just, you know, you're the founder, right? You need to be very precise with your words. So it's like never guess or trying. I mean, this is not the right way to go about it. It's just that we are doing this and we will do this. That's the approach, yeah.
I think you did a good job for your first time. So I think you're comfortable. I think you have good presence. So I think you know, are already on the right track. I think Founders Institute's focus is about building like a huge venture backable business. So I would really think about some of what people are saying is, you know, you could have, you know, a meetup group and do the same thing just by hand, right? So how are you planning to scale it? How do you capture a market that's able to give an investor a return that's great enough to take that risk, right? So really kind of diving into the actual like business model in terms of like, how do you plan to make like a huge business, right? And then the other piece is like, if you're gonna talk about investors and like pairing them, just do a small research around what a broker dealer is, because there's some legal requirements around FINRA and SEC and stuff. You can't legally do some of the introductions, stuff like that. So familiarizing yourself with that landscape, because there's a lot of founder communities, right? And there's a lot in Austin. So I would do a super deep dive in terms of like the word community and what amenities and benefits they all offer. Sure. Yeah. But you did a really nice job the first time. 10 seconds. Any last quick ones?
I'll close it out. It could buy language, the projection could be a little bit higher. Later, any of the other. Delivery experience. Paused a little bit, kind of lost track of the script, but quarters in. Competition. Don't go anywhere just yet. Mentors, start getting your scorecard ready to show Patsy what you have. While we're doing that, go, give me some drum roll. Roman, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Tarun, what we got? Show me a scorecard, Tarun. What we got? A 2. All right, we split it up. We split it. 1s and 2s. Good job. Mentors, I'll give you all a beat to get your scores up. Good first go. It takes a lot of courage to be the first one up. So good on you. Who's next? Out of this time,
Mark.
Mark. I gotta figure out a way to differentiate Mark. We should okay some middle save, and he's gonna be on the players.
Yeah, I should automatically.
You should be able to change.
All right, name and company for the record.
Mark Leutweiler, and it's postproducer.ai. LEUTWYLER. LEUTWYLER.
All right. While we're waiting on that, we got a mentor that just came in. Evelyn, you mind introducing yourself to proof? Putting you on the spot, every time saying hi to the room. Introduce yourself.
Say introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry, Evelyn Ivanov, I've been a mentor with EFAC for a few years now. I remember exactly how long, background in open source software and infrastructure, internet, telco infrastructure. I've been in Austin for 20-something years, got 2 too many kids. Is that enough?
That works. All right, let's get that hot seat tool open up for it a little while we're waiting on it. But until then, we got markup mentors. Do we have? Yeah, we got 2 marks. So make sure it's marked L. It's marked S, right? Right, cool. L and S. Okay, I'll figure something out. I'll better nomenclature by the end. All right, Mark. So we have clock 60.
Good, on you.
All right, my name is Mark Leutweiler, and I'm an amateur musician who's always wanted better sound from my at-home studio recordings. My organization, I found up, postproducer.ai, is a simple, easy to use online music enhancement tool that enables at-home amateur musicians access to professional quality recordings through our proprietary AI-powered music mastering pipeline. We believe that musicians should spend more time on performing and writing music and less time on spending a lot of money in studios and learning complex new softwares. With 45 million uploads to music sharing sites last year, we believe there's a significant opportunity to upscale some of those recordings and get more amateur musicians exposed out to a larger audience. I am looking for advice on reaching those customers, validating my concept.
Almost there. 5 minutes.
So I guess I heard a little bit kind of a problem, kind of solution statement, but not, it seemed like more of like a personal problem than a market problem. And I didn't hear you reflect how that is kind of more of a widespread need by the amateur musicians. Like, what is that challenge? Is it the editing? Is it the recording studio quality? Is it the equipment? Is it the finding a studio location? There was a lot of in there that I sounded like technical for me, which I didn't understand kind of as well, that I didn't know really what you were offering as that solution, right?
Okay. Makes sense.
How do you make money? Out of that idea, I haven't heard it, to be honest, so. Should you say another budget, not like investment venture?
And just to clarify, I'm not answering questions right now, I'm just listening, because that's what's missing from my pitch. I'm not there to answer that question.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, in general, there were a huge amount of buzzwords, kind of like Omar stated. So, like, people should be able to understand exactly what you're doing. I'm very familiar with the music space, and I have no idea what the actual like solution is or the problem. I know you're saying that you're building a system for, you know, indie musicians, it sounds like. But I didn't really hear a lot of it being cohesive with it. I know that there is an opportunity in that space for sure, because I have a lot of other friends that build startups in the music space. And so, especially one of the other things was you said the 43 million people within the industry, or 43 million uploads, right?
45 million uploads last year.
Yeah, so 45 million uploads last year. You didn't say for who when you actually said that statement. And that was what the biggest thing that caught my ear as well, because automatically it kind of discredited it. And then you started talking about indie after, and so then it clicked. But for a lot of people, it's not going to initially click or be able to, if you don't have cohesiveness in the pitch. So make sure you actually include that with the statistic. What is the statistic about?
So I don't come from a music side of background, but done sometime online event kind of an time. So what I could understand is like musicians or performers want to act more than actually being associated with the tools, other things for which they may be dependent on other service providers. So what only thing I could capture is probably it's a SaaS tool. I just build up a raw music, put it on your tool, and it would make it like wow or a much better or a studio. That's the understanding I could capture. But probably it seems like either I'm off page, or like your communication was there. Yeah, like what exactly you do.
Okay.
See, and I'll echo it. I pretty much totally understood what you were saying. I think that you can articulate a lot better to make it impactful for a lot more people. So I think you can kind of blend in a story and be like, you know, most of you know an amateur musician that was really good, but had to get a job. And so now they're managing kids and they're doing all this stuff. Like, we're allowing them to still create music and put it out in the world to be able to chase their dream while managing all these other life variables, right? Because they don't want to be sitting at a mixer or being a producer, they want to be a musician, right? So I think differentiating like the elements of what music is, and I'm not in music, but like I just know that, like, you know, I have friends that are freelance musicians, and like they love it and they can do that forever, but you know, they're doing AV and they're doing audio, you know, all these other things to pay their bills, right? So I think incorporating that piece is gonna be important.
Just extending a story, like tell more about.
Yeah, because everybody knows like somebody that like lost their dream, right? You know what I mean? And if you can help somebody like do that while they're still like working at Tesla, or they're like have a sales job, whatever it is, like I think people can resonate with them. But like talking about producers and mixers and like some of the equipment pieces, I don't know that people are gonna get. Personally, I don't know. You gotta test it.
Yeah, no, that's good feedback, thank you.
Just extending that thought, like it could also say like a musician before that music actually goes live spends like 40% of its time or X percentage of his time or effort or cost onto these post-production things, and that's what you're taking care of, because it's not only for amateur musician. It should ideally be also be able to target the people who are individual but good musicians, but they're spending their time and energy, right? That's something which would be key thing actually.
Produce more music, I mean, basically, right?
Right, so, some numbers that would illustrate that a little bit more clearly rather than just kind of vaguely like saying how we want to give people more time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it takes to edit music, but I can't imagine it's short, right? So if you can
Right.
take that from
Very time consuming.
20 or
costly.
50 hours to seconds, that's a huge.
Right, right.
Effort or cost, if that either of them comes clearer, it makes much more sense.
Okay, great, yeah, thank you.
Raw to consumable.
Good,
I
go.
say it that way.
That's the concept and it's unfortunate that I missed the mark on it.
Sorry, just to clarify, you said that you are yourself an amateur musician, right?
Yes.
And then at the end, you said, I need somebody who will help me reach out to my audience. So you're reaching out amateur musician, you're an amateur musician and you're looking for somebody that is helping you to reach out to those amateur musicians. I think that you should be the one, and if you look for something, you should look for, I mean, a co-founder or whatever you're looking for, but not in the space that you're already playing. Because otherwise, I mean, my question is, you're an amateur musician, you're looking for somebody to put you in touch with amateur musicians. So your background basically falls apart in your story.
Yeah, it's a good point, but you can just reframe the question to be like, I'm looking for creative ways to approach these people. Right there in my network, I'm trying to find creative ways. Like, you don't necessarily want to be like, hey, I'm a musician, but I have no friends or colleagues or acquaintances that are in the space, but
Right.
I would just completely.
I mean, I have my group, yeah, I'm not supposed to be answering every question, but yeah.
Cool. All right, mentor. Drum roll, everybody else, drum roll. Scores. And scores.
Hey, what are you showing up there?
Ones, two, 1, 2.
All right.
We got a couple twos in there.
Oh,
Go.
next. Like,
Mark. Well, I'm so about to, like,
Rachel,
have
then
multiple
Jerry.
Asks. You're lucky the time cut you off. You had like multiple asks on me. Just stick to them.
What?
Yeah, like you were about to ask for a few things and the time cut you off, so you might put one.
All right, founder up, just like the last two, name, company, for the record.
My name is Rachel Martinez and my company's name is Elegy.
Thumbs up in the air, let's get Rachel. All right. Minute.
On you.
My name is Rachel Martinez and my company Elegy is developing a website to help those who have recently experienced a loss plan funerals online in a more informed way by integrating our death care knowledge base with our vendor platform, which will showcase top-rated service providers and curated funeral products. The timing is right for this because studies are continuously showing death care consumers having an interest in online planning, and the FTC is currently considering overhauling its funeral rule, which, if adopted, would fundamentally change the way we online plan. I, having been a death care consumer myself and a current intern at a funeral home, have seen the predatory practices and inefficiencies that are intentionally perpetuated to capitalize on your grief. And so I'm asking today for help in validating this mission and also potentially monetizing it.
If you want to have a venture, you should not say potentially monetizing, it should be like monetized, because that's an important part of building a company. To be honest, I've heard something similar, so it seems like a very good idea, and the market is big, as you said. Just the last bit, I guess.
So since he said that, because I have heard a few other kind of business models coming out around this space, and I think it's a really interesting space that deserves attention. So I would go a little bit maybe deeper in some of those statistics or kind of the recent changes that might be coming and why that's gonna kind of open up the floodgates for this sort of business model or solution. You know, the topic is also one that's personal to a lot of people because they go through obviously their own experiences. And so maybe a case study or an example of kind of how the process with your solution would be, you know, that much better for the consumer.
Oh, yeah, real quick. Your second half of your pitch was like night and day from your first. Like you went straight into like features and like product offerings of like what you're building versus like the emotional tie to like, this is horrible for people and it's a horrible experience. And like, I can't believe it hasn't been done yet, right? So like you can lean into the emotions, but you went straight into like the features of the product before you really, yeah. So I would rework it. I think you had a lot of good information in there, but I think you really need to just like shake it all.
If the FTC doesn't change the rules, does that affect your business?
No, they don't have to.
That would be something that might concern people.
Okay.
Yeah, leverage that. Like if they change it, we're positioned to like exponentially grow. So like we're successful either way. Like if this regulatory change gets made, we are positioned to like immediately take it.
Very interesting for me because I've never heard of exactly this kind of thing. The closest I've heard is a friend of mine who was doing a startup called Planned Departure. Planned Departure was for somebody to take care of his digital assets or other assets once he's no more present. So that's something there. The good thing which I like from a business perspective is that this is an inevitable thing in somebody's life nearby. So that's something which is going to happen, which we say typically like in law, it's very clearly said that if you're relating something, a birth is not a fixed thing, but a death is fixed, right? So from that perspective, it's a very good business perspective, but how would you put it in front of people without reflecting business, but emotion and sentiment also would be very, very important. Sure. And at that stage of time, most importantly, a lot of people are really not worried about money. They're just looking for a peace of mind and getting the service done.
So, for me, I absolutely love the idea, actually. So my family owns a funeral home, out in Tennessee. So I understand the market completely, understand the upside for it. I also know some of the challenges you're gonna experience because a lot of people that own funeral homes and stuff like that are usually older or they're like family businesses that have been passed down. So there might be some potential concerns there, but I feel like that's something that you don't necessarily need to have in a 1 minute pitch because most people do not have that background like I have. So that's what my advice on that end is like, don't go too specific. And it sounded like that first half of the pitch, really enjoyed that, but also got a little bit more technical like Shane was saying as well. And so definitely +1 to what he was saying on those aspects. But yeah, the biggest thing that I wanted to kind of hear that might even fit for the pitch was like, how are you actually going to market? Like, what is that like that strategy around it? Like, are you selling to the funeral homeowners? Are you getting a cut from them? Are you getting a cut straight from the consumers? Like, how are you also like that go-to-market strategy of like, who is this for and how are they getting the system? And that's what I really wanted to know.
Can you take the place of the funeral home? Like 5 years down the road, could like you completely wipe out all the funeral home?
You could, but I don't know that that's necessarily the way we're going. There are options online that do direct cremations where you don't even have to go talk to a
Yeah,
funeral
I mean, like
director.
people are being buried, like everybody's cremated, like people are creating stones and diamonds and like there's a whole like wave of like afterlife that's like completely shifted to where like you may ultimately disrupt the entire funeral home
Theoretically, I mean,
industry.
yes, you could.
Sure.
Very interestingly, what I would say is that there are so many different communities and every community have different practice. When you deal with it, how do you really align with that part? That would also become very, very tough.
Drum roll. Mentors, scores.
Yeah.
There we
We
go.
got-
Twos, ones, go, gotta go, 3 4s.
Got some pause. Oh. Next on third pitch of the cohort, Jerry.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah Haruna. My company is Seamless Visa.
Oh. Once y'all hit submit, look through, you can probably spell Jeremiah in there, right? So see Jeremiah. Thumbs up. Are you ready?
On you.
Seamless Visa, my company Seamless Visa is developing a web application that helps immigrants to fill the US immigration and visa applications accurately and affordably. Increasing number of immigrants and visa applicants suffer application denials as a result of simple errors and mistakes. And many of them struggle with unaffordable attorney fees. As an immigrant myself, experienced immigration denial, I've experienced frustration. I've spent exorbitant fees to attorneys without success, and I'm determined more than ever to find a cheaper and better way for fellow immigrants. Looking for mentors and advisors to help me with my go-to-market strategy.
No. We're gonna make this as awkward as possible. So for example, we do this for a reason because, you know, you got about 20% of your time you left empty, right? So you have 20% time to create more of an impact, right? So we do that to show you guys that like you're leaving opportunity on the table, right? So just keep that in mind that you want to maximize your time. You don't want to say too much or too little. That's why we do this, is because it's a repetition over and over. So good job, but just, you know. Cool, 5 minutes, mentors.
Because when I heard like seamless visa, it felt like quite similar to companies like Atlas or others who actually help businesses get the visa, like businesses or individuals get visa. Whereas one set of problem statement is typical visa, which can be tourist visa, which can be just to travel, or a business visa, whereas another set of problem area is immigrants. Like how do I really come here, work here, settle here? So there are two different kind of problem statements. So just by the sheer name, I got lost over there. So probably the problem statement would have been more deeply clarified. That's my answer.
I agree. I think the topic of immigration and immigrants, you know, especially now with the elections, is kind of a hot topic. And I think clarifying for the audience further what you mean by immigrant, because there's different types of scenarios that, you know, immigration and people come into the US. You said that you were one of those people that went through these denials. Did you, you know, what was your story, right? Like what kind of immigrant were you? How did you decide to come to the US? And, you know, what advantage would coming to the US for you be to go through a solution that you're going to provide versus would your solution provide support going to European countries to get visas or to other countries or only the US, and why? And I would address partially how the politics right now might affect what you're trying to do.
I think that you should give a bit more of the context, like in terms of numbers. So how many immigrants get rejected, maybe, so that you give like a problem statement and you know, you size your market and how much it costs maybe and how much money they lose, and so that you have a better idea of, you know, why you're better than me going to a lawyer, apart from the fact that you said that sometimes even with a lawyer you get to obtain your.
I think, so a couple of things over there. First is that this idea is, you know, it's also dependent on a lot of external factors. So, I mean, the immigration policies and everything that impacts this business. Secondly, I would like you to actually build a stronger case that how you're different than, you know, these visa agencies who are sitting out there, right? And they're providing some sort of same service, because this service is particularly will be targeted towards probably the developing countries where, you know, a lot of people move to US for looking for work or anything. I'll build on top of Omar's work, right? But in those countries, you know, we get a lot of like these visa agencies, these visa agents. They're going to help, you know, with telling you a lot of stuff, how you can move over there. So I think the relevance and how you are better than them, right? That case needs to be built pretty strong. I saw some deficiency over there, but yeah.
And the economic impact is due to an investment, right? So you may have a really strong business and then economic climate impacts it and it makes it uninvestable, right? So that's where we're challenging on that, because we want to make a really sustainable business. So that's where that impact comes in. I totally agree with the statistics, right? Like if, 100,000 visas are denied because of clerical errors, and by just having a software that's able to like change this or update this or have them approve the changes so that they don't, $1 billion doesn't get spent. I think having statistics around like the specific types of challenges that people are occurring and getting more specific in it. And then I would definitely focus in on like a core area, student visas after they graduate, right? Bringing, entrepreneurs in. And so like really going to market with a very specific goal. Because if you just tackle, shoot, there's so many, I don't know how many visas there are, right?
Yeah. I wanted to highlight, so you've gotten a lot of advice about like different ways to structure your pitch. Remember, it's also still 1 minute, right? So like, don't go in long detail for this stuff. It's maybe a sentence or two where you're basically articulating that point by hitting on those different elements. And everybody does, you definitely get those sentences down, but it's really just getting to the point where people want to ask more questions. And it's not like they're nitpicking your business, they want to be educated on your business, right? And I can hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about it, which is great, but there was a lot of time still in there, even with like, even excluding the part where you weren't talking, where like you were trying to, I feel like, execute on certain points in the pitch. But I feel like some of that stuff could be slightly sped up, not like in a crazy amount or anything. I feel like just a little bit on the pacing side needs to improve for the pitch itself. And yeah, that's about all I have.
Mentors, any last ones? Right, drum roll. And scores. You got ones, twos, twos. What? Jump.
We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna call you. Look. PT. Randy.
That's good.
You'll be first up next week though, Brand. You didn't pitch this week, you're gonna pitch next week. You didn't pitch this week, you're gonna pitch next week.
JT Winston, my company is Apex.
All right, hold B.
John.
Yeah, JT?
Good.
Yes, does it say JT on there?
John on here.
Is John on there? Is John on there?
And you?
Alright, so my company Apex is developing a digital wellness app for individuals who are already seeing mental health counselors to better help them with their depression, anxiety, and stress in between appointments with adaptive, real-time feedback and guidance. We're a B2B2C SaaS model with an app for customers and a data dashboard on the therapist side. The timing is right now because 1 in 5 Americans have a mental illness. Depression has increased 50% in the last decade, and suicides increased 16% over the same time frame. Current solutions are not slowing this trend. I'm the right person to build this business because I'm intimately familiar with the mental health space, having developed my own systems to cope the last 5 years and seeing family members struggle for decades without a reliable solution. I'm here to ask for mentorship in go-to-market strategy.
Feedback from you.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I think, so you mentioned about that 1 out of 5 Americans, right? There's something, I think you should, start off with this. So you're building the pain, right? So I think that's where you should start off with that, right? Because I was just looking for that number somewhere along the lines, right? This number should come up somewhere because it's the pain, right? And I think this is like, it's very emotional and a lot of people would love to have such help, right? So I believe that should come before, and then your solution. I think the solution part that probably needs a little bit more details because currently it's not that well crafted. I couldn't get the sense, how you're different than others, and you mentioned a dashboard, but like I did not really get the solution part, how exactly your solution works and how is it different than others. That's from myself.
So I'll real quick, sorry. I just wanna, so like I actually had a problem with your 1 in 5 statistic because I bet if I put 2 charts up there around people that use mental health facilitator, whatever you want to call it, and people that have depression, those aren't correlated. Right, so when you say you're a B2B to C, and then you tell me your market size, immediately lose credibility because like your statistics aren't correlated with what you're trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I agree, like there's a huge wave, so like I'm not saying like there's not market statistics to like say it, I'm just saying that like those were not stuck up.
Yeah, like with this income, then you need to do like a proper statement first, like whatever, what are you trying to solve first, and then your solution. And then it's good base, you timed it very well. Let's try to understand, maybe introduce on how are you gonna monetize? Because you said that you talk about, different sort of people in there, like you talk about like the patient people with problems, and then you talk also about physicians. So how are you gonna monetize by a physicians straight to the customers, what ends? So
I also agree, problem first, then the solution. And when it came down to solution, you could also see like the problem space of mental health is now getting overflowed with respect to number of people interested in doing it. Somebody is trying to create a marketplace of providers, somebody is doing an AI-based solution, etc. So creating a niche around kind of customers that you would go after, or how would you provide a solution which would be different, becomes very, very important aspect. So because when it comes down to providing a solution, there are not very, very different possibilities. But if you can reach out to a particular set of customers, a different kind of customers, that could also be a starting point for you to start.
So like they said, like I've actually worked with some of the systems that, are may or may not be your competitors. My parents used to own, and actually, I guess, own another clinic for internal medicine, substance abuse and therapy. And so like, there are so many tools out there that kind of do things in that space. And so it's like, what is the problem that you're really solving within the space? I'm not saying that everybody hates those tools also, by the way, too. Like, if you can make it more efficient and like, but it's also like the audience, right? Like my dad that's 70 years old isn't gonna be like operating within that system. So if you're doing B2B to C, like, is it the clinicians that you're working with? Are they the nurses that are putting the data in there? Like, you have to figure out what that real demographic and niche is, because there are people like within those offices that do those things, and it sucks, especially even on the billing side for a lot of that stuff too. But like, I didn't get the sense of what that differentiator was, which is why I can't give you targeted advice either. So that's what I would say, is just figure out like, okay, if you know what you're building, great, like have that in like your solution statement, and maybe even a minor sentence on like how it works. But yeah, there's nothing else that we can really provide or go in depth because we don't know that response.
Also, like, I think you mentioned about the segment that you're targeting. I totally agree with them, right? So for example, like I know, I think I was reading some article that mentioned that depression among the teenagers, that is also increasing a lot. So like, you really need to, specify which segment are you targeting. That will also simplify your product as well, because I think it's just way too broad to target once at a time, right? So it's just take one particular segment and then laser focus on that. And I think Martin will be talking about it. Right? So I think that part should be there as well in your pitch.
So I want to separate that out. So if you're talking about going after the doctor's offices, that's completely different than going after the patient side of that, because that statistic for 1 in 5, in my opinion, is completely irrelevant. And a lot of the people that I feel like, because a lot of people also discount, huge amount of angel investors are doctors. Just letting you know, you could get this thing funded just in the medical side alone, honestly. And so, like, if you're gonna tailor your pitch or like pitching to those individuals about what you're working on and they need to understand it, you really need to hone in on like, yeah, just what that audience is. Because if it's for doctors, that 1 in 5, completely throw it out.
Just to add an overall thought, like once you identify that your customer segment is say, you may say, okay, I'm targeting teenagers or veterans or like mid-age females, right? So, but that's one thing which would be very important. One of the guys said like, nobody wants to talk to that AI bots. As I said, like a lot of people, the moment I see a chat bot as an AI person talking to, hey man, find me a way to talk to a real person. right? So that means that a lot of people who are trying to solve mental health through AI bots may not solve the problem. So you have to see that what's the problem? Do I know I have a problem as a mental health? Am I able to express my problem? And then what is the solution and what would make me more comfortable talking? So those are areas, if you just bisect and dissect, then you may actually reach out to the right diamond to hit it.
I think you're getting a lot of good information. There's a lot of examples of mental health apps that you could go just look at the graveyards of what they've tried. I do think that there's an element of just going to the people, and you're gonna do this during customer development, but like start with like the people that are like the worst case, right? Like they're gonna try anything, right? And then like at least you have the ability to have them to start the habit. Now somebody that has like, you know, seasonal depression or whatever it is, like they may not use it consistently. And so like as an app, like your metrics and your ADUs and your DAUs and all these like numbers that go into an app investment, like you're gonna have to understand all those. So like if you can start with a customer segment that's gonna be very bought into buying something, you may have a little bit better, but that goes into like even building like the data sets to like create the like, hey, go for a walk, or you know, send a message to somebody to do gratitude, or like whatever those things are. Like you need to make sure that like those are specific, because you can't solve everything, right? It may be veterans with PTSD. It may be, you know, teenagers who are addicted to social media, like whatever it is, like you're gonna have to niche in. So when you're doing your customer development, lean into all of those like segments and interview them to know which one is gonna be adopted.
Allow me one more additional point. Let us look at, means as everybody's saying, like mental health is getting very crowded. So some people are trying to find out, there's an analogy I'll give you from a gaming industry, right? So if you see how exactly gaming industry has moved, is initially games were made for people to move from streets to the laptops, from laptops to mobile phones. When people saw like everybody is into the mobile phone, people say like, now it's not good for life or wellness. They started finding, okay, within mobile phone, I'm interacting with people, social anyway. And then Pokemon Go kind of things came in, which brought people from again rooms to the roads, right? That's the journey. So if you see, there is one way of looking at it. Why is mental health problem coming in? Can you go to the other way? Instead of solving the problem once the problem has occurred, can you make people more healthier from a mental health perspective or wellness perspective? That would also be an aspect. Please pardon me if that's not the area that you're covering, but I just wanted to complete my thought actually. So just sharing.
We'll have to catch up and talk more.
Always around with you.
Right, drum roll. And sports. Ones, two,
Oh,
and a 4. Woo!
all right. Thanks. Good on you. We are going to take a 5-minute break. Don't get too comfortable chatting everybody up. We have a hard hour to go through and a tight hour to go through. Okay, got about 25 minutes on presentation, and then we're gonna do mentor breakouts. And our mentors will take themselves down. So get too chatty. Quick bio break, grab some water, stretch. Say your pitch, go cry bathroom. Then we'll be back. Thanks.
Okay. Up there?
That one, whenever.
Yeah.
Shames up.
You do any more of that?
Oh, I'm just saying, get done, we can do it later.
There are more startups. There are more startups.
Yeah, we're going to do like.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into,
Yeah.
and then we'll get into breakout.
It's like suddenly, yeah.
We'll do a quick presentation. And then, Martin, we're doing 30 minutes of mentor breakouts.
This is joining from outside.
No.
Wasn't founder.
For the sessions.
Probably next week I'll be away.
Well, and then it's good because then, you know, maybe later on in the semester, you may see a company that you haven't at all. So it's, we like to get fresh eyes for sure. How you doing? Doing all right? I'm good.
Yeah. You work with school districts at all? Is that one?
Good so, bro? I was texting Evan the other day, and I was like, dude, we gotta get, it's like Umar, we can go down.
Yeah, the weather's starting to get better.
Still see it on my calendar like every week. I'm like,
Thursday?
gotta get out there.
I know, I have another buddy of mine that's telling me the same thing like a week ago. He's like, I'm ready to go if you are. And I'm like, okay, but I've just been out of town so much.
Well, I'm going to London next week for like a week. So when I get back, I'm definitely down, and I wouldn't mind like. Do something that's like not like happy hour school, but being like, hey, like maybe chat online, but instead of like having another thing. And just being like literally.
Especially corporate world.
You know,
Yeah.
that's.
No, I met some cool people who,
To me personally,
you're out there and do, online.
Oh, cool.
And it's pretty cool. I'm gonna play tomorrow for the first time. Have you ever heard of Pavilion? Yeah, they're like, they're doing this with Pavilion
Like Pavilion,
tomorrow.
like the community organization.
Yeah. And,
Getting set up.
yeah, I mean, I'm getting together with one of them on Friday to talk about like how we can kind of like restrict our network. And then I kind of want to continue involved.
And then we
Like
have.
to, going to London for work, pleasure?
College.
Girlfriend?
We do. We work out.
Big 4-0. So I'm like, I'll be out of the fucking.
Yeah. I have that house, I just. So Olivia. And he like, we are kind of saying like, he wants something like, this, like, that's like the end, but also like, dude, I need to like work like that. I don't need to like go watch another stuff.
Yeah.
You go over there with the chat? Okay. I was waiting for the damn thing. Yeah, 'cause I was like, no, there's more. But
And then I'll wait with y'all.
Some people. So that's why like, but we like, we're very good. So like, I send it through the FI platform. And so I don't know yet, so I don't know where, I don't even know like they see it sent folder.
Yeah, because I was even looking for my.
So like Rachel is. Oh, and Josh wasn't sent me stuff back. So I was like, that's like way. For me, it's one of the things that I you gotta go and reach out to people. Great, it's like, you know, it's like, it's actually getting like, out of the story.
Loving it makes me happy. Let's do it.
Whatever, you send me the.
Okay, awesome. Super excited.
Yeah.
Nerves never go away with that. Because he's. That means a lot. Judging and hearing, telling me, like.
All right, y'all got a tight schedule. Back to seats.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need all these things. I don't have to.
All right, we're moving quick. We can do mentor breakouts once we're done on the presentation. Keep on your seats. Sorry.
Great meeting you.
I didn't, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should go royal.
Yeah, you're right, everywhere. Standard shot list for every other subsequent budget.
It's like 100 degrees outside and I just realized that you're here. Sure, it's not jacket.
I'll just put it down here, try to really turn it.
Yeah,
Put it down here. Do a little copyright.
Little LT in the corner.
But I got an AC built in there.
Breakout. Breakout after this.
Very serious. All this cold. 100 degrees, did you notice? My son is chasing me for a week.
Thank you.
Very functional. What y'all think so far?
Yeah, fine, so far? Oh, just wait.
Incredible pitch.
Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you to the mentors for providing that feedback, spending their time with us once a week. You might see a lot of familiar faces week after week in terms of our mentors. You might just see one side. So appreciate the time, but we'll take that mentor breakout immediately following this presentation. I want to burn through this. If you attended, pitch boot camps we had over the summer, a couple of you left in. You might see some things, but I'm going to drill in even more. But we're going to get to that after I our vision and validation talk. Okay. So save questions until the end. And again, if you are, everybody have notes. Everybody have notes. You want a notebook? All right. Get a notebook for you. I got in the tote bag, green one. And then sort of a label, little Founder Institute Texas name tag symbol. Slap it on there and keep that notebook. I recommend you just have a dedicated notebook for this program. Okay? So if you want a dedicated notebook, we have plenty of it. Plenty of it, raise your hand, Shane will get it to you. Throw a label on it as well. But that'll be the best. I would love to see that notebook every week here, okay? But when we get into presentations, I want you present, laptops down and away. Okay. So as we begin, take the pick. I don't want to waste time, so let's start. For all of you right now, half of you are already building something, the other half is just trying to figure out what the hell am I doing and is this gonna work? But for all of you, the number one thing that will kill you before you can get out the gates is a lack of focus. People tonight will be focused. There's one. They're talking about that. It'll be a little bit different for all of you. There's frameworks that I will be showing you, things that I've designed myself. They'll help you apply this principle of focus. It'll get bigger. I'll tell you stories. Say the question. But lack of focus is the biggest thing I've always seen entrepreneurs struggle with in the beginning. I have done that personally. do everything for everybody all the time for everyone, immediately you can't do shit. Can't. Got friend, at least for the next several weeks, maybe at least we make it the first couple of years. Don't be discouraged by this, you have to explore yourself. Achieve focus. That every founder has done, every very successful founder has done. Tell you about that. So we'll start with the framework. How do you achieve focus? It's this framework of the rule of one. Okay? You want to solve one problem. One problem. For one customer. Okay? With just one thing, one product. Right now. Right now. That does one thing really, really well. Okay? With one way to make money. And clever. Not yet. One way it actually works. That's it. Okay? Everything else is dumb. It's superfluous and a waste of your time. Rules of one. Sounds simple. Might have to get a little existential. Yourself, who you're actually serving, and the customer might change, the product might change. Not a problem. Every top might change. That's okay. That's part of this process. That's why you're here. So let's apply these frameworks. Everybody know this character over here? Adam Hamlet? We work? Oh no, we. Try to elevate consciousness. All this stuff. But y'all might know we work. I don't even know the weird thing he's doing now. It sounds culty. But we had something called crawlers. Heard about crawlers? Crawlers, he didn't have any kids. He didn't really do any validation. He was just trying to get rich quick. So he was always an entrepreneur. Give him that. Regardless of what you think about it now or how it got to his fame. Crawlers, you know, he was still eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches and sleeping on couches when he came out with crawlers. Crawlers is exactly what it sounds like. Here are the photos. They are pants for babies with knee pads. Pants for babies with knee pads. Because he just had to go, you know, I don't know any moms, I don't have kids, but you know, babies have been crawling since time begun. And yeah, must be uncomfortable to crawl around. So we're gonna make these pants, knee pads, because you know, you can't tell. So you know, nobody bought them and laughed about them. Because he didn't do any validation whatsoever. He just assumed if I build it, they will come and I'll be rich and it was gonna love me. I have to focus. He didn't do any of the validation work that you need to achieve focus. And every baby shall in your life. Inevitably, he found an architect who had this vision of co-working. Work, you know, pretty charismatic CEO, co-founder. And yeah, the rest is history. You can watch the movie. Don't be crawling. One problem. One focus, validated problem. So how do you achieve that? I'm glad you asked. We start with the customer development process. And we'll dive really deep into this next week with our mentors. Because that's the whole topic of next week is customer validation. And a really good regimented process to interview customers. But all you're doing is applying the scientific method, just like second grade science. All we're doing here, you are hypothesizing that a specific demographic of people are struggling with a problem. Solutions going to help solve that problem. Okay, and the development process is just testing that hypothesis. It's more simple than you really might imagine. Some of you were in my office hours yesterday. You heard me talk a little bit about that. So let's construct it. Some of the work already has shown you that some of you might already be ahead of this and already started this with this workshop. Work has it. Try to distill it down to a sentence right now. You believe that this defined audience is struggling with blank, that problem. That's it. Produce your product or solution, whatever it is, it's not there yet. Or it might be there, but it's validating. You're hypothesizing, testing hypothesis. A couple examples. Look at those and write them down later. But they're very straightforward. These are actually ideas that have come out of Founder Institute. programming for the use, so I just didn't pull them out of thin air. Both of them clearly. I'll show you what a good one looks like, what a bad one looks like, but just don't be that person who's gonna build something. Who is the customer? More specifically, we talk about those customers. They're the ones that actually give you money, right? So in Adam Newman's case, babies ain't customers, moms and dads are paid, there's a problem. They weren't paying shit. So who exactly is going to tender money to you? Or your user may not be a customer. Might not be. So think about that. Look at one of the examples that I had, HR managers struggle with finding great talent at volume. Right? It may not necessarily be the talent hunters, it might be the HR manager. So if I was actually doing next. Again, here are my examples. Around. So I literally had this program finish. They come up to me like, Martini, build something great. I'm like, cool, tell me. I'm like, who's it for? They're like, women. Wow. 1/2 of the world's population. Wow. You're revolutionary. You're going to affect change to 4 billion people all at the same time. No, you're not. You're not. Because you haven't done enough work and specified who within that the massive demographic that is women are. That example, I believe that, working women with their first kid struggle to get, to order tiny products for their child. I think we're specific. Then drill in a little more on these working professional moms, aged between 24 and 44, who work full time, practice yoga. Okay. Yeah. It shows me you've done a little bit of thought into who is dealing with this problem. You just come and just say, small businesses, really, 90% of the US economy is going to use this tool. Have it done to it. Shows me. Is everyone here? So specificity, and that might change, this demo might change all the time as you learn, gather feedback, brilliant minds in your cohort, as well as mentors. But every single face on this slide has done that and has crashed this focus. Started with something that was very simple, and then it became something big, massive. Right? Zuckerberg, I used to work for him a long time, and honestly, the Facebook.com was just a directory, so creep on girls in his mind. I know, weird. But for him, he wanted a girlfriend. These are what people talk to him. And yeah, you hear the stories about the week live. He was first to market over that. Wasn't a unique story, wasn't a unique idea. He just kept it focused with his dorm. Expanded other dorms. For school. That was it. One of the first few billion users. I'll tell you that. But yeah, now it eats up half the world. It's probably listening to us all right now. Hi, Jeff. Jeffrey Bezos. Y'all remember what Amazon was? It sold books. That's all it did was sell books. He was a little more cerebral. Came from a family of academics, and wanted to get into this, online commerce. He did some analyses. He did a lot of surveying data. He's like, all right, what has the longest, if not infinite, shelf life that takes up the least amount of space in a warehouse? Books. What has flat rate shipping that I can send pretty much all across the country, not the globe? Books. What is constantly coming out that I can constantly index that is also a pain to get outside of the library? Books. Probably have like 3 packages at home right now. Not a number of books. But that's what started. He also had razor thin margins for 20 years. So they rolled out something. Focus. Same goes for the Yeti guys. Just wanted a cooler, focused on outdoors people, hunt, fish. They didn't want to waste money and potentially great game because they were buying those shitty styrofoam coolers at the gas station or just dissolve. There's nothing else in the market. They want it. They bill us there. Really just keeping those catches and that game cold for at least. Now they got 2 dang Yeti things right there. They ain't coolers. Now they got the tumblers and chairs, dog toys. They weren't. What did they do? Focused. And I love these two, with Katrina. Similar to Jeff. She struggled, didn't have the time. She was going through a lot of business school. She thought she was gonna be a doctor in business school and just realized, this is just a pain. Online shopping right now, just for a pair of jeans, it sucks. I don't have time to go spend a whole weekend finding clothes that fit me for the, whatever adventures I'm gonna get on. So what did she do? She focused on jeans. She created survey monkeys, like forms, and just took as much data listening to really just her friends as to what things they like. She ended up going and buying things at the mall on her credit card. She delivered it to her friends. They try it on, buy what they wanted, give her a handwritten check. She returned the rest. That's a concierge MVP, but what that is. But now it's a juggernaut. Now it's got all these styles of this jeans. Her. Melanie, first self-made billionaire out of Australia. I'm using the damn product right now. You know what it was originally? If you know, don't tell them. It was a yearbook template software. Little sister was struggling. She was head of the yearbook committee. And they were just literally just kind of pasting things on the pages, copying. Seems like it started as a yearbook now. There's no marketing maps. You don't have money. Schools don't really have that much. She pitched probably a little too early. Everyone was just, investors were just like, nope. It's too niche. It was focused in the wrong ways. But she kept talking to me, she kept listening. She wasn't set in her way that this has to be. Lady goes and check. After a while, she noticed all of the conversations she had is that there's people that use Microsoft Paint, try to do graphic design using PowerPoint, and then people that spend months and months, if not years, learning graphic design. Very expensive. Illustrator, Photoshop, all that shit. There's nothing in the middle. Just made it easy enough to design a birthday card for your grandma. A year and a half later, Canva started coming out with just strictly flyers, cards. Not that it. Those are templates. Now I use it religiously. I'm sure a lot of you do too. Focus for every single one of these founders. So it's possible in the beginning. Regardless if they knew where it was going to go, where they thought it could go, they had to focus in the beginning to be successful, prove that they could do this. And people were willing to give them money for it. So, again, they're not alone. Everybody started somewhere different. So many things started completely different from what you used to the day, right? Just let you soak that in. From video games to podcasts, none of that shit that you're using these services if you are using them. Whatever idea you might have right now, don't get married to it. It's going to evolve as you speak more about people doing why they're struggling with what the problems are. Right? It's just the beginning of the journey. No bold questions. So, man, it's hard enough to do one thing right. When you do everything all at once, all at the same time for every single person on the planet, you're going to fail, have a very bad time doing it. Okay? Be the person that does something all at once. I also don't want to hear a couple things moving forward. I don't think any of y'all did. And start God's worth it. I don't want to hear certain phrases at all from any of you, period. maybe ever. You're not an all-in-one solution. You're not a suite of products. You're not a lifestyle brand. You're none of this yet. You got a Yeti, Stitch Fix, and all of these things that I'm telling you are not all the stuff that solve the problem. Singular problem. Couple friends of mine put whiteboarded it out, their seed faith accelerator program, partners with this stuff, so I have the new slide. I was shocked, where is it? Dang it. We're over here, dang it, I had it somewhere. Oh, either way, I'll find that. But it's like, I don't wanna hear disruptive, I don't wanna hear innovative, revolution, we're disrupting the blah, 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 I'm like, no, you're not. Like, this just, it's a monotonous word, it makes no sense. Cutting edge, oh, if I hear one of you say cutting edge, I'm gonna throw a chair at you. Oh, please don't. It's like, that triggers me so hard. Product folks and marketers alike say that word, bleeding edge, all that shit, it means nothing. I don't wanna hear it in your words. Okay? Shows me that neither side has really thought about why this thing's special, or how to cop out. So again, let's talk about how to validate. Let's talk about how to validate, right? You can do this right now without having to spend tons of time. When we think about validation, think about the simplicity of what the feature offerings are. Right? So you look at Apple. We had this very famous story. When Jobs came back to Apple, they had all of this shit. They had printers and pagers and all of this crap that you would not expect that Apple has right now. They did the famous Punnett square. He drew a box with a cross in the middle. Punnett squares. They're only going to do 4 things in 2 categories: pro and consumer, laptop and PC. That's it. Everything else we're cutting. Focus, focus, focus. Look at what they offer now. They give you a very limited selection of options. With all respect to our friends that aren't Apple, we have a lot of hardware friends that aren't Apple. They have a lot of options. That's not their market. Heavy customization. They want simplicity for user consumers. That's why they're the largest computer brand on the planet, one of the most valuable brands on the planet. They weren't always like that. Took their founder, CEO, and figure out why the hell he got fired the first time, come back and revitalize what's happening. So I'm not asking you to have those 3 things yet, but the simplicity will win for you, right? Okay. One thing that does one thing fantastic is better than 1,000 things you want to do. And don't get clever on revenue streams. And again, I'm gonna run out of chairs if y'all start telling me you're gonna do advertising. Don't do advertising, that's the worst model you can have. Again, so Facebook didn't make money for another 6-7 years after it was public. They needed economies of scale, and the most maddening, mind-boggling thing. Billions of users to actually achieve this, just to make a little bit of change. If you're like, oh, we have 10 users and we're gonna introduce ads, it's like, no, you're not. That's a marketplace kind of feature product offering, and we need demand on both sides of the market to work. So advertising just saying, show me 1 billion users in a few years, I'm like, all right, yeah. Not right. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about revenue models. So let's talk about validation. Talk about validation. Founder Institute grads over the years have been able to achieve things like this. Thousands of users before they launch. Paid users. We had a founder on the last program who had 10 paid users before we even launched the product, before we even demo. You have to go start giving them money. Product. We need to get an update. Somebody should pay him. Where's that? But some have secured angel funds. Some have done all of these things before even starting on the product, right? Because they've done so much validation and proven other people that can solve it. They're going to dedicate that time. So, first one in terms of validation is everything I've already been saying. Trinity, right? Just talk to them. Try to use some of this form. I'm going to dive really deep into how to do this in more granular, defined ways next week. But get into the life, get into their head. who you think your customer is right now. It's gonna give you money, right? It's gonna give you money. Just tell them about your day. What do you do when you wake up? What do you like to eat? Yes, you. You put your one leg or both legs, you put it in pants. Just figure it out. Just get into their head. Okay? So you encounter the problem. And you're not selling anything yet. You're selling a damn thing. What you're doing is just discovering, is this something that I want to deal with? And if you do, start asking, what are they using to solve it? Is it anything at all? Are they paying money to solve it? Or how much? What do they love about it? What do they hate about it? What do they wish they could do? Do that enough. I recommend at least 100. Now each of these interviews are a day. Start building something like that and solve it. Some of you might be coming from an industry where you're identifying a gap in the market. Building that. So you already have some institutional knowledge. Still got to validate. Those colleagues, those peers who struggle with the same problem. It's the fastest way to do it. There's a blue book story I'll tell during office hours. Or next week, but I don't have time for it tonight. Well, there's Riley. See him next week. We're remiss, he's not here tonight. His mom's birthday, so good excuse. Riley did this. Katrina did this. The concierge interview. That's what you normally when you're just a hamster spinning, doing everything manually. Some people might be writing things down. Again, in Katrina's case, she's doing survey monkey data. She's analyzing that. She's going to the shopping mall herself and buying all these. She's bringing them to her customers who haven't paid her money yet. They're picking out what they like, what they don't like. They're gonna pay her for what they are gonna take. And she's gonna return it. Majority will be the concierge. That's a great place to start. The next one is the piecemeal. Spring is a really cool example. I'll go quick on them. About 7, 8 years now, the home delivery food services are getting real big. You know, just delivery in general is getting real big. They wanted to provide these really curated dinner experience. It's based out of San Francisco. Actually, the founders of Unity, some of the team on there, our first unicorn started this one right after. They started by promoting on Facebook groups, foodie groups, in San Francisco area. Started calling restaurants saying, hey, you know, can we get X amount of orders and how late can I give them to you? Right, so and then they set up Eventbrite pages and sell tickets, diamond tier, platinum tier, gold tier, whatever, and there'd be these prefix menus. They'd sell as many as they could. They go put in the orders at the restaurant. Again, they haven't built anything off the shelf stuff. Okay, Facebook, Eventbrite, groups. But the kicker was they started planning their delivery schedule using Settlers of Catan. Yeah, I know, weird. Settlers of Catan board. They would map out their downtown San Francisco like delivery route based using that. I still wonder how they did it. That's how they did it. They didn't build a single line of code. They just used what was literally off the shelf, and figuratively off the shelf. They worked. Didn't pan out as well as they thought. Like many companies in that space at that time, but it's a good illustrative example. No code solution. This one's out of date. I'm gonna get a new slide next week on this one, but a lot of things, again, those off-the-shelf products, no code solutions, so you could start iterating and just building little bubbles, click-throughs, and all that fun stuff. Don't worry too much about what's on here right now. We've actually got some materials coming out later this fall about community. You can validate just through your own authority in the space if you already have it. I'm just going to point to Ashley Connell with Prowess Project. She graduated from our 3rd cohort. She was terrified about having a family because as soon as she left the workforce to start one, she'd lose 40%. A lot of statistics on her business studies all terrible. Makes no damn sense. So she started a company called Prowess Project that would bring stay-at-home moms who left the workforce, start a family, and re-enter to achieve that earning power base that they left off with. Upskilling, connecting them. It's evolved since into what she calls online business. It's not just agnostic to, moms that want to re-enter work. Anyone that wants to have flex work, remote work, and still be able to do things that they love. Okay. She started following hashtags with mom pages, meme pages, Facebook groups dedicated to single moms, working moms, stay-at-home moms. It became a very big authority. You can do that too. If you already have that, you can even more. Do the whole Gary V content. So I'm gonna close here and then we're gonna drill all the way through. And then we hit 8, we get out of this room, start working way out there for breakouts. Don't be this person. No one's making crawlers in here. Okay? I don't know before I teach you how to pitch. No one's going to stay fucking idiots. No one's gonna do it. Let's go through a thought experiment. All right, you'll buy me a drink. And not you, for somebody buys me a drink, I'm like, Martine, I can't tell you this idea, but it's gonna be so awesome, and where are you gonna steal it? I'm like, really? Think I'm gonna steal it? All right, tell me the idea anyway, I'm not gonna steal it. And then, I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. Oh God, I'm gonna call her founder, Dale. And Dale, talk to you like this. This was like just heard the craziest, amazing, harebrained idea that I'm gonna quit my job doing. To spend 70 hours a week for the next 5 years at the BU tomorrow. So you told me for cocktails? Coffee. Not gonna happen. The one way it does, there's this episode of Silicon Valley. There are like 4 or 5 interviews into a VC group. They didn't do their diligence. They brought in a competitor's engineering team. For some reason, they brought the engineers into that meeting too. And they're like whiteboarding the tech. All the engineers are like, very, very outrageous. But yeah, you're giving away all the secret sauce. That's on you. No one's gonna steal your idea. Ideas are done because it's all about execution. Okay, that's why we're here. So, it's keeping me on time. Let me give you all some book recs. Take your phones out and start taking photos. And once you're reading this order, it's gonna get you motivation. It really follows your journey. Maybe that you actually be happy. First ones are going to be Lost and Found and the Hard Things About Hard Things. Brandon Fishkin and Eric Reese. Okay. So these illustrate the journey that I'm telling you about right now. What you're about to do. After that, I want you to go to 0 to 1, the lean startup. I was looking at Tito his politics. Or damn good book on how to actually turn into something or nothing into something. And the lean startup by this one actually gives you the methodologies on how to do it with as little capital as possible. Okay, we use a lot of these methodologies in Founder Institute. It's very much the standard how you would try to build a scalable company before you have any money. Last but not least, I want you all to think about Jason Calacanis' Angel. For many of you listen to the All In. I haven't lately because they've been too obnoxious about things that aren't startup. Omar was just at the All In Summit. And then finally, venture deals. Don't start with venture deals and work your way back. Might as well be studying Finance 301. Because you're not. You're like, what are these words? Basket charts out. I quit. Routine, you suck. I'm leaving. So start from there. All the way through these 6 books in that order. Promise you, it's going to make more sense than the other way around. Now, thanks. Let's see if I think I gave you all a different pitch. Let's do this. I'm going to show you all how to pitch real quick. And then I want y'all to come back and next week, yeah, there it is. That's the one. As you can tell, I've given this talk a lot. This is the slide I was talking about. Again, I don't want to hear revolutionize, innovative, disrupt, cutting edge, streamline. Let's get more clever here. We got plenty of good marketing mentors in the house. All right. So for next week, many of you, again, who have already been either in my workshops or in my office hours, heard a lot of this. So let's go. So again, write all this down. I want to hear the framework either in office hours next Monday, but certainly in this room next week. For those of you who did not pitch this week or pitching next week, guaranteed. First one. Who the hell are you? Who are you? I don't care. It's like some people just dive right in or start to like, oh, mom was a dentist, but dad was a baker. I'm like, so who are you? Why should I be listening to you? I don't need to hear your life story or Wikipedia page just to be written. I want to know right now who you are. Why should I give you the next minute of my time? Okay, that's it. Quick about it. I don't have much time to tell me your life story. If I'm interested, we'll go have drinks later. I'll ask you questions. Tell me how'd you get this. Don't spend an inordinate amount of time thinking about it. Really good. Next, problem. What's the problem? Why is it a problem? Who's dealing with the problem? How big is the problem? Emphasize the problem. Why are you here today to talk about this problem? Standing in this room right now. Figure to this moment. But why does it matter? It alludes to maybe how the industry sucks. That has this problem. The lack of those options, et cetera. It's up to you. You're gonna work on that. Next, intro, solution. Show it to me if you can. Talk about it immediately. Don't bury the lead. Why are you here today? Why is this an issue? Why are you doing something to solve that issue? Why are you building it or why are you having it? Okay? Tell me a little bit about how it works. Don't whiteboard it out like that episode of Silicon Valley. Just tell me quickly, how does it solve the problem in a unique way, special to you? Let's go. Next. How do you make money? Did any of them say how they make money? No, you didn't. I'll never do. I'll never do. Tell me how you make money. Don't be shy about it. If you don't know, I'm not saying just make something up, but it's the point. Focus on how you make money. I'll say, oh, we're gonna do affiliate marketing and sponsorships and events and advertisement. I'm gonna throw all of these chairs. Just focus on one way. There's only so many ways you can make money. Don't get complicated on it. Do not get complicated, right? Reiterate why now. Right? Why is this an opportunity? How big is the market? Start throwing some data at me. And I was like, all right, you've done some research. Tell me a little bit more about why you might be the person to do this. Okay? I know I'm going fast. Intro to yourself again, maybe reiterate yourself. You have a team, tell me about it. No LinkedIn profiles on all of that. I want to get to the point. We've got a great team of engineers, go to market, blah, blah. I'm the chief product officer, we got blah, blah, I don't know. Tell me. Lastly. Oh, almost last. Traction. Yeah, none of y'all really have traction right now. Well, maybe even does. But where you at right now is coming. Right? If you're pre-revenue, pre-MVP, that's cool, that's fine. If you're still validating, see if this is something worth doing, that's fine too. Maybe you got some customers, revenue, you're looking to hire, maybe start fundraising, that's cool too. All of you might have or say something like that in this room right now. And tell me where you're at. Don't lie and be aspirational. Just be honest where you're at. Traction. Now last. What can I do to help you? Please don't say money. Please don't say money. Like asking you if you're hand in marriage before we even have coffee. On hot situations. Some people might disagree with me, but I love things that do that. You ask for money too soon, you're burning the bridge before you realize you're on. See a Dodge, ask for money, get advice, ask for advice, get back to someone. So, what can we do right now to help you? Be specific. Be specific. When you say go to market advice, great. Product development, maybe it's introductions to potential users, customers. That's it. Y'all can do that in a minute. Y'all can do that in a minute. Again, there's those final slides. I guess they're done ready. That's it. All right, I'm done. I'm calling it. Thanks, y'all. So, let's save questions. We got about 15 minutes where we got to get out, so I appreciate y'all's patience and we're a little over. We're gonna do mentor breakout. So mentors, please start getting your hands up. Founders, start just getting some one-on-one time with each while we have time. We start fully opening these doors and start moving our way out. So please don't be shy. Immediately following, you guys go into the pub. I'll walk with you, but I have a convalescent kitten at home that I have to take care of for a mom. So won't be able to join you all evening. So I think these fine people will. Any case. Next week, I'll be telling you where we'll be having sessions at next week. So working on a few things, I'm surprised there more to come there. Thank you again to Lily. Even though 18 for hosting us this week, we'll be back here for a couple of minutes. But we're gonna be mixing up our venues this one, I think you're gonna enjoy it. It's great, so let's see, new space. Alright, thank y'all for joining us for this first one, great job, all of you. You didn't pitch this week, you're pitching next. Sound good? Alright. Thank you.
Good being here.